mind you can't control. Running wild, can't calm down. My head is in the clouds.
Canadian cookie.
Keep on breathing, even if we're slipping away. So I close my eyes and lose myself now. Do it like it's only today.
Here we go.
We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. Before I think it make you feel like this, make me feel like this.
Go.
We got a party for a lifetime. Oh, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. Before I think it make me feel like this, make me feel like this.
Lately, good from Misty. Hey, Chopper. Ginny. Forget me not.
I'm on my last straw.
Oh, good, Barb.
And I'm woken up. I'm done feeding your lies. I've had enough. I can't run your place in this faulty game. And all the words you speak mean nothing more to me. 'Cause let's start over now. Rewind. And I won't let you go. I need you by my side.
Aw, Sheila. Animal lover, don't be a silent watch to join us. Anna. Right now. Thank you, Tears. Hey, Sue, Drew, Deb.
Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow.
Yeah, Nancy, let me know. Email me.
'Cause you don't know how. You say we're taking on water, yeah, we're sinking now. You're looking all concerned, like we're gonna drown. But we both know how to swim, no worries as we'll fall now. Let's take it slow, where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow, who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow. I drag you out your mind, and there are days I hate you, but baby, you're still mine. And we have the best times, no matter what we do. And even when we don't, there's nobody I'd rather choose. Let's take it slow, where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Slow, who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow, where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow, who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Today is June 3rd, 2024, 5:15 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. So, guess what just happened to me? You guys know I drink my Diet Pepsi, and I was opening up a can just to say, I'm afraid to touch it. And I was getting ready to open it up, and the can broke. It bent from the pressure, and it hurt my finger. Like, it bent the thing. It feels like there's more pressure underneath of it. Like, I'm scared to touch the damn thing. It really hurt the tip. It hurt the tip of my finger. Just the tip. Remember? Just the tip. Hit the like. Oh my God. Kind of scared to open that one up now. Canadian Cookie, thank you so much, my dear. I appreciate you renewing that membership. 6 months. Thank you, my love. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Carmelita, sorry. I'm a bit under the weather today. Will you please play the Screaming Chicken for you? Absolutely. Of course. Absolutely. We will play Christopher for you.
Christopher! Oh, Grace! Oh, Grace! Christopher! Christopher! Oh, Grace! Christopher! Christopher! Oh, Grace! Grace!
Oh, Christopher, Christopher, I hope you feel better, dear. Hope you feel better. So I actually had this live planned, and oh, he did send it. Okay, maybe it's going to go like we thought. Okay, uh, because I believe we have done every interview, haven't we? Haven't we done every interview of Chris and Katie? Is there one I'm not? Are we missing one? Let me see which ones I got. Let me see which ones I got. Okay, so we got Duchess March 3rd, WSMV March 5th, March 7th, Fox 17, March 7th, that's Fox 17 again. We got Chronicles of Olivia March 18th, Duchess March 17th, Smiley March 20th, Nancy Grace March 25th, Terry Lynn March 21st, Web Sleuths April 27th, and yeah. So is that all of them? Am I missing one? We have not done that one. Hey Jude. What was that? What was that? It's a short interview. But I wanted to go over Nina, the accusations, what she alleged, and it was on Trevor's channel. Trevor, remember, he took his channel down. Well, he hid it, but I just messaged him and I asked him for the link. He sent it to me, so we got that. We got that because I think that's very important. Maybe we can align some of the things that she is saying with some of the things he has said. I think someone said that there was one yesterday, but I could be wrong. A lot of people have been asking me to do the Nina one as well. So we will do that one for sure. I feel really sorry for Nina. Also, I wanted to do maybe some call-ins today. I would like to hear some of your thoughts, theories on what you believe is going on in the Sebastian Rogers case. There was one with a female and her fiance. They had, I don't remember the name of the show. Was this one done? That's probably Cluminati. I think we haven't done any of, I mean, maybe we done one. Has anyone seen a video of Sebastian at his current age? We've seen photos, but no video of his voice or his mannerisms. That's a good point. That's a good point, Lo. Why not? I take video of my cat just randomly, just once a week. It's odd. Yeah, we did the Duchess ones. We did the Duchess ones for sure. It was a couple doing it, just small channel still. What do you consider a small channel, Sue? Love the poll. Of course, we include everybody here, even the people that may not care for me. Yeah, the Nina one is very sad. Wasn't the video with the aunt recent? Wasn't the video with the aunt recent? Aunt. I don't remember an aunt one. Don't remember that. What was the What was the who did it with Katie just by herself? It was a news. Does anyone remember the news station or the show that was called? I love you too, Kels. Thank you, my dear. Hey, Caged on the Inside. Good to see you. Good to see you, my dear. Reels. Reels. Okay. Let me see if I can find that. Let me switch my account so we'll have. Okay. Reels. Katie Proudfoot. Okay. I don't see it. Let me try Sebastian Rogers. Oh, it's called Patrol Live. Patrol Live. Nicole. Well, maybe I'll do Reels. Maybe I have to look it from the website. Let me see here. Katie Proudfoot. All right, let me just look it up from this. Patrol Live, Sebastian Rogers, Katie Proudfoot. All right. Let me see here. Sorry, guys. So it wasn't that long of an interview, I don't guess. It was like 3 minutes. Does that sound right? Doesn't seem like it's that long of an interview. Was it really short? Like 3 minutes? Okay. I don't see it on the website, but I see it here on TikTok.
We need your help to find a missing Tennessee teenager. During the early morning hours of February 26, 2024, 15-year-old Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers disappeared from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee. That's about 20 miles north of Nashville. He's not been seen or heard from since. And Sebastian is now the subject of an Amber Alert. Joining us now is Sebastian's mom, Katie Proudfoot. Katie, thanks for being with us under what must be very difficult circumstances. First of all, how are you and your family holding up?
I would say that this isn't a tragedy that we would wish anyone to ever experience. We're keeping our faith and we're praying every day that we're going to find Sebastian.
What's the latest on the search?
So law enforcement is exploring any and all possibilities. They're communicating daily with us about updates and the statuses. We have faith that all the law enforcement agencies involved are doing everything that they can, and we're going to find Sebastian and bring him home.
We know the most important thing right now is to get the word out about Sebastian. What would you like our viewers to know about your son?
Sebastian, he is high functioning autistic. He loves animals. He loves video games. He loves fishing.
Green tea. You're so goofy.
I love I love that video of Sebastian when he's just being silly. I love that. That's so cute. Italian Princess, we are going to do a live later on that, on the Maddie Soto. Yep. And I've also have some documents that they sent to Steven Stern regarding all the evidence they have on him. We're going to be doing that later. Yes, and I'm like, damn, they've got him. They got everything on this mother trucker. That has to be a death penalty case. Come on, man. Seriously. Got to be a death penalty case. This demon, what he did to that child is unspeakable. Watch this, little Sebastian.
He loves video games. He loves fishing. Green tea.
You're so goofy.
He's typically a very, very sweet boy. He can be quite temperamental, though, if he's overstimulated or if he's stressed.
Okay. All right. So 4/13/24. So we need to write this. 4/13/24, and this is Reels on Patrol. Okay. All right. Now, he's typically Katie. He's typically a sweet boy.
He's typically a very, very sweet boy.
He's typically a very, very sweet boy. Very, very sweet boy.
He can.
He can be quite temperamental, though. What is she? I don't understand why she talks about this. He can be quite temperamental. Temperamental, though. Most people, whenever they're missing or they passed on or they're very ill, you don't hear any negatives, right? No, that pic is not of the Roadhouse. Hey, Chris.
Be quite temperamental, though, if he's
overstimulated or stressed out. Okay. If he's overstimulated or stressed out. Now, the question is, was Sebastian overstimulated from the weekend? I mean, remember, they didn't get home till approximately 7 o'clock. They were gone all weekend. All weekend. Love you too. Gone absolutely all weekend. So when they got home after eating, did she just tell Sebastian go straight to bed? And did that it wasn't going to happen? He was overstimulated?
Stimulated, or if he's stressed out. He has a unique run. He runs like the Naruto anime character.
Okay. All right. He has a unique run. Okay. He runs like the Naruto. Naruto anime character. Okay.
When he's excited, he likes to dab, and
When he's excited, he likes to dab. Excited. He likes to dab.
loves music. He loves to
Loves
dance.
music.
That's all very helpful information. Now, if Sebastian is out there
Look
watching,
how she says
what would you like to
dance.
say to your son?
Look how she says dance. Dance.
I
Why
would
does she
say,
change her
Bubba,
voice like that?
we love you.
Hold on.
It's my main character. When he's excited,
Dance.
he likes to dab, and he loves music. He loves to dance.
Dance.
That's all very helpful.
He likes to dab, and he loves music. He loves to dance. He loves to dance. He loves to dance. Dance.
That's all very.
He loves to dance. Music. He loves to dance. Music. He loves to dance.
That's all.
Music. He loves to dance. Music,
Dance.
He loves to dance.
Dance.
That's all very helpful.
Dance for me. Dance for me. Dance for me. Oh.
Music. He loves to dance. He loves music. He loves to dance. Loves to dance.
Dance.
That's all.
Loves to dance.
Dance.
He loves to dance.
Dance.
That's all very helpful information.
Dance.
Now, if Sebastian is out there
Dance,
watching,
damn it.
what would you like to say to your son?
I would say, Bubba, we love you. We all love you so much. Wherever you are, just know that.
Okay. Katie. Bubba, we love you. We love you so much. Wherever you are, just know that we are not going to stop. Just know that we are not going to stop. Now, I mean, Katie, you have to get up. She has to get up to do that. Right? Dance.
That we are not going to stop. We're going to keep searching.
We're going to keep searching. We're going to find you. We're going to keep searching. We're going to find you. You're not searching, Katie.
We're going to find you. We're going to bring you home. And if you ever get an opportunity.
Okay, we're going to bring you home. We're going to bring you home. And if you ever get the opportunity,
find a phone, find a safe adult.
Find a phone, find a safe adult, call 911. Find a phone, find a safe adult, call 911. Unlike what she did.
Call 911.
Well, the problem is, what if, Katie, what if they have to transfer it 72 times like you say Chris did? What if they make 911 inconvenient just like they made 911 inconvenient for you? Cecilia, welcome to the family, my friend. Thank you so very much. Welcome. Thank you, my dear. Appreciate your support. I really do. Thank you. You see how silly that sounds? Chris and Katie, you see how silly that sounds? 911 is not meant to be inconvenienced when you're already inconvenienced. Nobody in their mind is going to have to be transferred 2 or 3 times like you said, Chris. Oh, sorry, I was saving time. Bull butter. You was not. Get real. Carmelita, thank you so much, my dear. Thank you. Thank you, lovies. If you received that pearl necklace, please thank our dear Carmelita. It's very kind of her for gifting you that pearl necklace. Why would she hide him? Why would she hide him and what? I don't think he's hidden. I mean, I think, in my opinion, he's hidden, but he's not hidden, in my opinion, out like with someone, a family member or something like that. I don't think so. Just my opinion. None of us know, but that's just my opinion.
But I'd also like to ask our community to please keep searching your properties.
They are, Katie. They are absolutely searching the property. Welcome, new pearls. They're absolutely searching the property. Terry, and forgive me, what's the guy that searches with Terry sometimes? He's a creator. Charlie? Is it Charlie? Terry busts her butt every single day. So many people like hate on her. I don't understand it. Like, why? That woman searches so much, man. Welcome, pearls, vintage and new. Oh, I love that, Rach. I love that. Yes.
Keep sharing his flyer. If you know something or you see something, please say something. Call the law enforcement immediately.
We're going to do everything we can to help find him.
Thank you.
Now, let's take a good look at Sebastian. He's 15 years old, 5'5", 120 pounds, with light brown hair and brown eyes, and wears glasses. If you've seen Sebastian or know anything about his disappearance, please call the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 1-800-THE-LOST. That's 1-800-843-5678. And you can also reach out to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation at 1-800-TBI-FIND.
You're right. Jennifer, you're right. You're right. He was let down from everyone around him. He was. If we're honest, he was. He was. Do you think when she left the house early that morning that she met mother-in-law and they switched vehicles? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think there was a vehicle switch that morning per se, in my opinion, but it's very possible. So many possibilities. So many possibilities. Hey, written in stars. Hello. Now, Seth said when he got there, Katie was sitting on the couch crying. And I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. I bet you she was a wreck. Who wouldn't be? Regardless. Now, if, let's be honest, I mean, if, for instance, and again, I want to be clear, law enforcement has not named them suspects. I mean, they haven't, I don't know if they've not named them suspects, but they've said there's no indication of foul play, shall we say. And that includes Chris, Katie, Seth. But I don't see, in my opinion, I don't see how. But regardless, what I was saying is Katie would have been a mess that morning if she is involved the night, just hours prior, if something went down, well, she would be crying. Yes. And if she did nothing, she would be crying. Justin, what if Seth's mom has him? Nope. She stated she never let him go back to his mother, and Seth's record isn't great either. What if she contacted? I don't think so, Donna. I don't think the Bauer Sox have him. I don't think Seth's mom has him. I don't think Katie's mom has him. I don't think anyone, personally, in my opinion. That's my opinion. I'm just one out of, hundreds of thousands that has an opinion on this. But I don't think anyone has him. No. I think he needs to be found. Now, again, before we get into Nina's stuff, this is a 5-mile search radius, right? Look at all the roads and neighborhoods, right? All those white lines right there. Look at them. Look at all those white lines through here. These are all neighborhoods, right? Thousands and thousands and thousands of houses probably in a 5-mile radius, right? Outside of Nashville. You're telling me one mother chicken camera. That's exactly right, Burnt Popcorn. Seth is not perfect. He's absolutely not perfect. But let me tell you why I support Seth. Because he didn't do anything. And we know, as far as we can concretely, that's a word, know that Seth was at work. He was literally in a jail. Literally in a jail. Is he perfect? No. I think he's done stuff that, especially with Trevor, that I 1010% disagree with him on. 1010% disagree with him personally, right? But I know the man did nothing to his kid. And I know he is absolutely heartbroken. And I know one day he's going to see the light and apologize to Trevor. He said a couple days after all that went down, he said Trevor's a good person or something like that. He kind of retracted a little bit of it. Oh, no, we do know he walked through the parking lot, went to the garage, opened up his keys. Absolutely. He was sitting in a jail with 11,000.2 billion cameras. That we do know. Hey, Brittany, good to see ya. Yeah. I mean, I think Seth can be a little bit, and I'm not trying to beat up on Seth or anything, but Seth, the way he speaks at times, he is his own enemy because he contradicts himself a lot when he speaks. He contradicts himself so many times. And that's a problem. Right? Especially for people who are like eyeing him. I mean, they have every right to eye him. You know, he technically is a suspect. But I'm just saying, in my opinion, if you want to find Sebastian, it's not going to be with Seth. I'm just saying. But oh yeah, Chris isn't going to help. Chris isn't going to help. He searched half of a day with Seth. So there's that. Someone attacking someone? Guys, if someone's being please don't attack any creators or anything in here. Please don't attack. Yeah, and please don't write the word. Be creative with your words as well, please. But look at all of this. Look, all of these neighborhoods in a 5-mile radius, right? 5-mile radius. See all of these? I mean, it is in the blue. That's a lot of land. And they have searched it and searched it and searched it. And mods, if the words aren't dressed up, please ask them nicely to dress it up, and then if they don't, then just delete. And we try to keep it as classy as possible in here. Yeah. But, you know, the thing is people's like, oh, you attack Chris and Katie and everything like that. First of all, I would never say anyone is guilty. It's not my place. But, you know, again, I have questions, just like people have questions for Seth. But you can't say, oh, well, don't you look at Chris and Katie, but I can look at Seth and be like this, and this, and this. Well, he's definitely not perfect, but he's trying, and we know he didn't have anything to do with it. That's just the way it is. Please remember to use, please use in my opinion or allegedly. Be greatly appreciated. All right, without further ado, we are going to be combing with a fine-tooth comb. A fine-tooth flea comb that Chris uses for his Morkies in this interview. Going with a fine-tooth comb, picking out every little thing that Nina says related to what she alleges happened with her and Christopher. So maybe, yeah, a lot of people's wanted me to do this. So Lulu says 5 miles is a lot, but if you walk at a decent pace, you could cover 3 miles an hour. Absolutely, Lulu. If he left shortly before 12, they didn't report it till 6. Whatever that is more than 5 miles in my opinion. You're right, Lulu. But the problem personally that I have with that is he's barefooted. It's cold, and there should have been some footage somewhere of him or a scent. So that's the problem personally, myself, that I have with that. How can a barefooted 15-year-old who's very sensitive to temperatures, textures, all of that, on it February 26th after midnight, February 25th after midnight, February 26th, travel that far in bare feet? Nothing. Now, is he more likely being barefoot? Is Sebastian more likely to go through the woods, or is he more likely to go through the path of least resistance? Sassy Hound is late. Oh my god. Oh my god. Sassy Hound, to the office, please. You're being paged. Sassy Hound, to the office, please. You're being paged. Sassy Hound is late. Late slip for Sassy Hound. Thank you. So is Sebastian more likely to go through the woods where briars, rocks, animals, anything like that? Or is he going to take the path of least resistance? Well, I mean, I think she's telling us the truth about the shoes, because I think Seth would know, and that's the reason, in my opinion, they didn't, in my opinion, lie about the shoes. Obviously, I think Seth would know all the shoes because they had just had a conversation about it a few days prior. And I think that was, in my opinion, one thing that they forgot was his shoes, because it looks a lot more suspect, if you ask me, that there was no shoes gone. That's just me, though. So many of these cases, the kids don't have shoes on, right? I mean, you've got Sebastian, you've got Summer, you've got Elijah Vu, you've got in Texas. I can't think of the guy's name who the friend, the real creepy friend that was living on grandma's property. Madalena Kochikari, no shoes. So many of these cases, no shoes. It's crazy. Caleb Harris, no shoes. Yep. And just look how they turned out. Did Audrey? Yeah, Audrey. Yeah. Look how all of these turned out. It's really weird. Why would they even mention no shoes? It's not like that law enforcement can immediately determine. Well, I think because, in my opinion, because of Seth. He knows what shoes Sebastian has. I find Sebastian, I'm sure, find Sebastian before fathers. Yeah. Caleb Harris, his is very mysterious. It's a very mysterious case. We've covered a little bit of it. Yeah. I think I heard today Summer also had no oh yeah, Summer had no shoes. Yep. Perhaps. But I think she had just bought a pair and I know she did. She had just bought a pair and told Seth. Or one of them bought a pair. I don't know if it was Seth or Katie, but they had told each other. Okay, let's get it started. Let me find Nina's thing here. All right. So what we're looking for here is basically accusations, things she is alleging about Chris or the family. Now, this is maybe very triggering. Joe Clyde Daniels, no shoes, autistic. Yes. I know, Tracy. It's really bad. It's so bad. Seth bought boots. Okay. Yes, because the boots, that's right. Seth said the boots, as soon as he walked in the house, the boots was beside the door. Yep. Mm-hmm. Noah Presgrove. Yes. I do know how many pairs they have. Yeah. I keep we do a shoe limit in the house because we have had way too many shoes. Way too many shoes. So yeah. Yeah. We all have 4 pair at any given time. 4 pair of shoes. Then we get rid of them. Donate them, get rid of them, whatever. I'm not the type of person that has 70,000 pairs of shoes in my closet. I used to be, but I've really tried to cut down on everything. So we do 4 pairs. 4 pairs. So that's just us. One time I tried to do a 10, there was no way, like a 10 piece wardrobe. I could never do that. With the Maria Kumo method. Great book, by the way. Great book. You would go through shoe withdrawal. Well, I think women specifically, a lot of women have a bunch of heels and stuff like that. But what I do is I generally buy new shoes per season. Yeah, but we have so much stuff we don't wear. You know what I mean? So much stuff we don't use. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. If it's something you love, right? Take a picture of it. Because it's not really the item anyways. It's the memory that is attached to the item that reminds you of someone or something. Take a picture. Get rid of it.
Biologically. And I thought he was a great person in the beginning. But everybody is always perfect in the beginning, right? We fail to see the red flags and we fail to notice things that we should in the beginning. So he made
Thank you so much, Lacey. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you, my friend. Thank you, my dear. Thank you so much for your support. Truly, my dear. Thank you. Really do appreciate it. Truly, truly do. All right. Let me put this down a little bit. There we go.
did a couple of trips out here, asked me to marry him. And
From what I understand, Sebastian's glasses, they weren't left in the house. So I'm assuming he had his glasses. Didn't have shoes, didn't have a coat, took a flashlight, and his glasses.
And I made the mistake by saying I do.
Thank you, Cecilia.
So we got married. Eventually, we moved to San Diego. I wasn't really ever prepared to move away again from New Mexico. I had went through a divorce a couple years prior to meeting Christopher. And my first husband was military as well, but I was married to him for 9.5 to 10 years, almost 10 years. We made it. He's the father of my other 2 children. And I told him that, I was remarrying and we were moving to San Diego. And he wasn't really for it. He was kind of against it due to the fact that he was stationed out at Fort Bliss, which is in El Paso, Texas. And that's about like 3.5 hours from Albuquerque. So he was, he would always see his kids.
Sue, thank you so much, my dear. Thank you. Welcome to the Pearl Club. Sue just bought her a pearl necklace. Pearls look amazing on you, my dear. Thank you so much for joining. I really do appreciate your support. Really, truly. Thank you, my dear. What was I going to say? This is Nina. This is Chris's last ex-wife, Nina. And she is giving her side of what she went through. And if you are someone that has ever suffered through like relationship trauma, this may be rather triggering for you.
Like every weekend. And he's like, how am I going to see my kids? And I said, well, we'll figure it out. So we packed up after we said I do. I don't remember the exact date when I got.
That's a good question. I don't know if she used her work van, but I will say last night we was listening to Chris, and I caught something in that, and Chris said, we are like any other family. We work Monday through Friday. Well, Sebastian, technically, I guess, went missing on, Sunday night, Monday morning. So, kind of wonder. And Chris also said, and on the weekends, we try to get stuff done around the house. Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, he slipped on that one. I'm telling you, in my opinion, something happened anywhere from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday night, February 25th, 2024. Someone needs... Crazy Ape needs a late slip. Crazy Ape to the office, please. Crazy Ape to the office, please. You're being paid. Late slip, late slip. Mods, late slip for Crazy Ape. She's needs a late slip.
Got married to Christopher, and maybe that's a good thing. We moved into the naval housing out there.
This.
And my son, Noah, was 3 at the time, and my oldest was about 7 years old. And she was telling me 7. So I thought everything was great in the beginning. I mean, everything's always perfect, like I said. And then I started seeing bits and pieces of how Christopher really was. I was a stay-at-home wife. Due to my son being so young, I wanted to.
I can tell you, in my opinion, Tanika, that Chris wasn't there on Sunday. He wasn't at work on Sunday because he said he worked Monday through Friday. Said he worked Monday through Friday. Well, if you work Monday through Friday, you're not at work Sunday or Saturday. Chris, where he states Seth, no, where he states Chris, where he states Katie, he and Seth know where Sebastian, what happened to Sebastian. Justin, do you recall on Queen Bee interview, Chris, where he states Katie and Seth know what happened to Sebastian? I don't, my dear. I'm sorry. Yep, that's right, Maurice. Bingo. The neighbor said he would come home on the weekend and, take care of any of the projects that the house may needed. I wish someone would ask Seth, since he has the CPS reports, if there is a recommendation in there that CP was supposed to stay. He can't say Blue Eyes. That's the, I wish he could say. But see, Seth could get in trouble if he leaked that out. Like, he could get in real trouble. Real trouble.
Enjoy those years with him. Then my daughter went to school right down the street, so I was home every single day, and it just started seeing like Christopher change like night and day. It was awkward.
Right.
I felt really uncomfortable.
Right. And that's the thing, Deborah. An entire month of him not coming home. Chris is going to stay gone an entire month. An entire month. Why? Why would he be gone an entire month? Valentine's Day, February 14th? Valentine's Day. Canadian grandma to the office, please. You're being paged. Canadian grandma to the office, please. You're being paged. Late slip for Canadian grandma. Good to see you, Canadian grandma. Nub, thank you so much for becoming a member. Thank you, my friends. Appreciate that. Welcome to the family. Pearls look amazing on you. Amazing. Didn't Seth say we know where he is? We need. I've heard that. I've heard people say that, and I think Betty asked him about that the other day. He's like, I don't recall. I don't know. Seth contradicts himself so much in one interview. It's crazy. But to be honest with you, the man has been exhausted beyond belief, stressed beyond belief. I think he's so tired sometimes he don't know even if what he's saying. Justin, almost all the paperwork Seth received is redacted from CPS. I know a lot of it was, but he said, I mean, what he did know, he said he would have taken Sebastian the week before if he would have known everything. Remember, CPS came out in January. Yes, January 28th. Was that because they told Chris to stay away from February? Well, February 28th and 3 business days later, he was out. 3 business days later, and he was out. Progressive girl to the office, please. You're being paged. Progressive girl to the office. You're being paged. Late slip for progressive girl. Good to see you. He talked to Sebastian on the phone that Thursday before he went missing. Correct. Yes.
Comfortable. After a while, we would argue about just the smallest things. And a lot of it also had to do with how he disciplined my children.
Big thing. Big thing right there. Okay. So, what's the date for this? March 29th, 2024. All right. 3/29/2024. Nina interview. All right. So, Nina alleges that her and Chris would argue. Where the hell is it? Turn these closed captions on.
Do with how he disciplined my children.
Okay. A lot of the arguments was the way, quote, he disciplined my children. Okay. Now remember, Nina was already a mother prior to being married to Chris. Aunt B, good to see you, honey. So good to see you. Thank you so much, my love. Appreciate you. Welcome to the family, Aunt B. Pearls look amazing on you, darling. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate the support. Good to see you, honey. Thank you for being here.
I'm very protective over my kids. And I didn't want somebody else to discipline my children.
All right. To me, it's really hard to watch Nina like that because I believe her. I really do. Nina says it was hard to watch someone else discipline her children. She's very protective. She's very protective of her children. Okay.
And I didn't want somebody else to discipline my children.
Didn't want somebody else to discipline children.
I didn't want him talking ugly to them. hurting their feelings. And
I mean, I'll be honest with you. If I was in a second marriage and had gotten remarried, I don't know if I could allow someone I just couldn't. I'll just be honest with you. I couldn't let some other man discipline my kid. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. No, I just couldn't. You ain't touching my kids. Sorry.
I remember one point in time where Christopher spanked my son really hard, and I got very upset with him, and I said, "You can't do."
Okay. Big thing right there. Nina states one time one point in time where Christopher spanked one second where Chris spanked one of the kids.
Spanked my son really hard.
A son. Okay. Spanked her son really hard. She says really hard. Not just spanked my son, but really hard spanked him. Yes, he's a dictator because he's a dick and he looks like a tater. That's why we call him the dictator.
And I got very upset with him, and I said, "You can't do that to my son." I said,
Okay, she says, Nina says she tells Chris that you can't do to my son.
"He's 3. He's a baby still. Like, you can't."
He's 3. He's a baby still. I can't imagine someone whipping a freaking 3-year-old. A 3-year-old. What? You're always welcome here, Eva. Thank you so much. A 3-year-old man. What the hell is wrong with these people? 3-year-old? I mean, that's some crazy stuff. Crazy stuff, if you ask me. Uh how does anyone even think about whipping a 3-year-old? I believe so, Reno. I do believe so.
Can't just do whatever you want. I mean, he's 3. He's a baby still. Like, you.
Okay, Nina says he's 3. He's a baby still. You can't
Just do whatever you want. I mean,
can't just do whatever you want.
and he got upset, and he's like, "Well, he needs to learn. He needs to man up. He's a man." I said, "He's 3."
That is the exact same thing, guys. Listen, that is almost verbatim, exactly in the Elijah Vu case, the same thing that went on. Jesse said he was going to make Elijah a man. He's 3. How does one do that to a 3-year-old? A 3-year-old is a baby. A toddler. It needs to man up. Okay. Okay. And Nina says that Chris says
he needs to man up.
he needs to man up. He needs to man up. And Nina says he's 3.
a man. I said he's 3. He's 3. And as time went on, like, I could see him getting more aggressive and more aggressive. And I stood up for my kids all the time. I didn't like how he, like I said, how he talked to them, how he wanted them to stand in the corner all the time. And
what?
I didn't
Hold
like
on.
that.
Hold on. I never realized it said that. I knew the 3-year-old thing, but I guess I was so shocked about the 3-year-old being a man, how he had to stand in the corner all the time. That is just like Jesse Vang. That is just like Jesse Vang. Wow. I did not realize that. That's why we go back. Nina says she didn't like the way Chris spoke to the kids all the time and how he always made them stand in the corner. It's exactly like Jesse Vang. Exactly. Oh my God, I did not realize that. Valentine to the office, please. You're being paged. Valentine to the office, please. You're being paged. Late slip for Valentine, please. Late slip for Valentine mods. Thank you. Boo, and they're both missing. And they're both missing. Exactly, Lee. Exactly. I did not realize. I knew the 3-year-old thing and becoming a man, but I guess I was shocked. And after that, I hear, hold on a minute, guys. Hold on. Sorry about that. I have my studio window open and I heard a dog going crazy, and it was my neighbor walking the dog, but another dog was walking on the other side of the sidewalk and they were like, "Whoa," and I was just making sure it was not my dog or something. So anyway, that shocks me because I noticed that the man thing, but then making him stand in the corner. That is Jesse Vang 2.0. Where
So
children are missing.
I stayed a little bit longer. I ended up eventually getting pregnant with Faith. And it was probably, I want to say, maybe early September that I found out that I was pregnant with Faith. And I remember telling him that I was pregnant. and he wasn't happy about it. So I called my parents back home here in Albuquerque, and I told them the situation. And I said,
Let me find this. Mimi, to the office, please. You're being paged. Mimi, to the office, please. You're being paged. Strike two, Mimi. Strike two. I believe you were late yesterday too, madam.
well, Christopher wants me to get an abortion with Faith. And my parents said no.
Okay.
You're not. And I said, I'm not. So I know he was very upset about me keeping Faith at that point in time. So I came home. My grandma had gotten very sick, and I decided to come home. And after that, I just kind of stayed here in New Mexico.
I'm just kidding.
Because at that time we weren't getting along, and we were just like newlyweds, and that should have never happened. But I saw things, like I said, that were just it wasn't right about him. So I moved home, and I did my whole pregnancy by myself. And so I finally, my friends back there in California, my neighbors right across the street were actually calling me. I had one good friend, which is still a really good friend of mine to this day. She called me and said, Nina, Christopher's getting rid of your furniture and getting.
Okay. So she states, Nina says she gets a call and Christopher is getting rid of your furniture. Notice how there was furniture also out right after Sebastian went missing, out on the curb. A used mattress. A used mattress. Holly, thank you so much, my dear. Appreciate the support. Thank you, my dear friend. Appreciate you. Cindy, thank you so much. I appreciate you, dear. Thank you. Thank you, my love. I think you sent 2, maybe? Thank you, my love. Appreciate you. Thank you for your support. Means so much. I really appreciate your support, honey. Thank you, beautiful Cindy. Yeah, he's not very original, is he? Same actions every time. Well, I mean, people generally behave how they behave, no matter who it is, right? Once you're there, you're there. So I just think it didn't really, it's hard to change someone like that who's kind of set in their ways, and also, in my opinion, thinks that anything is wrong. So there's that.
Rid of your stuff. And I was like, what?
Thank you, Mimi. Thank you so much, honey. Appreciate you. Thank you, my dear. That's everyone here. It's so nice to find you all. Love the group here for Sebastian. Other channels have been fighting and obviously have forgotten. Yeah, thank you so much, Poppy Love. Appreciate you. We try to keep it classy here. They can do whatever they do, and we just keep our heads down and stay focused. Thank you, my dear.
And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, you're like, he's giving away like your little, your home decor stuff. Like he's giving away beds. And I was like, no way. So and this was about Easter time. So I had went out there. I made a special trip. I asked my mom to go with me, and Isabella and Noah, they went with me, and I was still pregnant with Faith at the time. So we made it. I didn't tell him that we were going out there. So I kind of, wanted to see myself, because the neighbor also informed me that there was people at the house that shouldn't have been there. So I guess I kind of wanted to sneak up on him and see what he was doing, right? And we pulled up into the driveway, into the driveway, and he was coming out the front door with a bed that he was giving to the neighbor,
Oh,
which was
look, a
my
bed.
son's bed.
Damn. Giving away a bed. And it was her son's bed. Wow. Okay. Nina says she pulled up to the apartment and Chris was coming out of the apartment with a bed. And Nina claims this was her son's bed. Chris, what's it with these beds? What's up with these beds, Chris, that you're getting rid of? And do y'all think Chris would take a used mattress?
The look on his face was like a deer in headlights.
Nina states the look on his face was like a deer in the headlights. That, to me, in my opinion, tells me that he's secretive, right? Secretive. Remember, we all have the public, the private, and the secret self. The public self, the private self, the secret self. The public is us now. The private is with those ones we're really, really comfortable with, like family, our spouse, very close friends. And then the private self, which is the secret self, which is the part that no one knows about us. Every one of us has that. Every single one of us. But others are more extreme, right? Than this. The way she claims this was going on, he had done this allegedly all behind her back. I mean, giving away a child's bed. Like, it would be bad enough to give away, in my opinion, an adult's bed, but where a child sleeps. Think about that. Think about that. Did Chris not allegedly think, well, where is this boy going to sleep tonight? It also makes me wonder, where did Sebastian sleep? Where did Sebastian sleep?
And he dropped the bed right there in the front yard, went back in the front door.
Okay. All right. Nina says he dropped the bed right and went right back in the front door. Now, remember, Chris is a serial matrimonist. And this was his fourth marriage. Fourth marriage. This wasn't his first rodeo. This was his marriage not too far behind Katie, right? He's been with Katie for 7 years. We're almost at 1,000 likes. Woohoo! Thank you, guys. Thank you. Get to 1,000, please. I know, Anna. She's beautiful. I don't know how, like, she got him. Like, I really don't understand it. Don't get it. I know, Donna. I wish the other ones would speak out.
Slammed the door and locked it on my kids. And my mom told me at that point, she said, I can't believe he's doing this. Like, what is he doing?
I didn't, Ida. Sorry.
So I go in and I unlock the door and I said, what are you doing? I said, are you giving away my stuff? And he had nothing to say. So he brought the bed back in because I knew that's what he was doing. And, the neighbor across the street, like I said, told me.
Okay. So, Nina asked Chris, what were you doing? Nina says he just gave her a look and went outside and brought back in the bed. Nina states that the neighbor told her he was bringing the bed next door. Okay.
So we stayed there. It was super uncomfortable. My mom felt the tension between the both of us. My children felt it as well. And at the time, Faith started moving.
Sammy, thank you so much, my friend. Thank you. Was Katie the someone who was supposed to be there? Was Katie someone who was supposed to be there? What do you mean? Supposed to be where? Sammy, you can just write it in chat. I don't know what you mean. Supposed to be at the house, at Nina's apartment. Okay, Max Chica.
I could start, I felt her moving around in my stomach. And I told Christopher, I said, look, I said, put your hand on my stomach. I said, can you feel her move?
At
He
the
said no.
house? I don't know. I've wondered that myself. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I absolutely think if you do the math, the way Chris and Katie stated, that in my opinion, they were messing around before her and Seth were done.
When you're pregnant, you always think that your spouse is going to be super supportive and be super excited that you're pregnant and bringing a life into this world for him, right?
I think it might have been people just helping move stuff.
But I didn't get that. I didn't get that support that I needed.
You're late. Smiling Sleuth to the office, please. Smiling Sleuth to the office. You're being paged. Late slip for Smiling Sleuth mods. Good to see you, Smiling Sleuth. Thank you for being here.
So, we had a conversation my mom brought up between Christopher, myself, and her. And she had said, do you not want Faith? Like, do you not want this baby? And Christopher stated to my mom he wasn't happy. And he said, what if one of them dies? What if Faith dies or Nina dies on the table or when she's having this baby? Like my mom said, don't talk like that.
Ugh. Okay. Nina says Chris stated to her mom, what if Faith or Nina dies in the operating room? That's a little bit weird if you ask me. Say something like that. Don't you think?
Like, why are you talking like that? They're still here. So we left again after a couple days. We came home to Albuquerque. And still,
there you have it. Teresa says Faith's birthday was yesterday. She turned 7 years old. So if Katie and Chris had been married 7 years, evidently he was already involved with Katie at that time. Bingo, bingo, bingo. Yes.
I tried working it out where we were at, but it just wasn't working. I wanted out. And I had Faith on my own. Christopher called the hospital. I told him on June 1st that I got admitted into the hospital. And Faith arrived at June 2nd, about 3 or 4 in the morning. And he kept calling the hospital and saying that my wife is in labor. She's there.
Deborah.
But Christopher was just so rude and hateful and just.
She is, I see you.
I mean, he wasn't even there. So then he arrived a couple days later after I had Faith. And he was, the doctors and the nurses there were on high alert due to the fact that they heard Christopher over the.
Okay. Nina says the doctors and nurses at the hospital were on high alert due to the fact they had heard Christopher
phone on how he was being disrespectful.
Over the phone on how he was being disrespectful. Okay.
To the nurses that were on call that night, as I was.
To the nurses that were on call that night.
waiting to have her. And I asked that they not give him any more information.
Okay. Before she was getting ready to have Faith, she asked the hospital not to give Chris any more information.
So he arrived. I had Faith. He arrived a couple days later, like I said.
Couple days later, Chris came to the hospital. So he wasn't even there for his daughter's birth? That's crazy, y'all. He wasn't even there for his daughter's birth, not for a couple days. Wow.
And you could just tell the look on his face, like he wasn't happy at all.
Okay. Nina says when Chris arrived, you could just tell the look on his face that he wasn't happy at all.
Like, didn't say, hey, you did a good job. Didn't say, I'm so happy that you brought my daughter into this world. Like, nothing. And I remember my sister was holding Faith, and she had to ask Chris, do you want to hold her?
Gosh, that hurts.
He said, I guess.
Okay. Nina says her sister was holding Faith, and Nina's sister had to ask Chris, do you want to hold her? Chris said, I guess.
Yes. So she handed her over to Chris. And he stayed there with me for a couple more days because I had a C-section. And on one of the occasions, I can't recall what was happening, but he was raising his voice and he was talking to me very disrespectful in front of one of the nurses. And she had told him, look.
Okay.
But
okay. 1 second, I need to do a new page. Give me 1 second, please. Okay. Now, Nina states, while being in hospital,
he was raising his voice.
Chris was raising his voice. And one of the nurses.
And he was talking to me very disrespectful.
Okay. And he was talking to Nina, very disrespectful. Okay.
In front of one of the nurses. And she had told him, look, she just brought life into this world. She just got major surgery. And you're...
Okay. And one of the nurses spoke up and said, look, she just brought life into this world and she just had major surgery.
Yelling at her, and I have a problem with that.
You're yelling at her and I have a problem with that.
She said, if you continue to do this, I'm going to have to tell social services to come down here. And I'm also going to have to ask you to leave the hospital and not return.
Okay. I'm going to have a problem with that. And if you don't stop, I'm going to have social services down here and going to have to ask you to leave and not come back.
So at that point in time, he kind of calmed down after he heard that.
He calmed down.
But unfortunately, that didn't last very long. He continued to do that. So social services at the hospital was told to come down. And he was pretty much, she said, you can't do that here.
So social service actually had to eventually come down. Okay. Because Nina states that social services ended up coming down later and telling Chris, you can't be acting like that here. You know how bad that has to be for social services to come down and say something like that? Like, that would have to be pretty bad. Don't you think? That's a little crazy.
And she was really concerned for my well-being at the time, and also Faith's, because here is Christopher dictating and telling me what
the dictator
what I can and can't do, and telling the nurses to do their job correctly and all the...
Okay. Nina says they were concerned with her and Faith's well-being because of Chris's behavior. Nina says Chris was trying to tell the nurses how to do their job correctly. Unbelievable. Wow.
These other things, and raising his voice at me, and so they had to step in, and
it's got to be real
so
bad.
She said, this is it, like you're gonna have to leave the premises. And and he got a little upset, and he's like, no, I'm gonna change, I'm gonna be good.
Okay. So they told Chris he was going to have to leave She says Chris got upset and he said he was going to change, going to be good.
So, they said, okay, but we're watching you. We're watching you. So after that, we had left. They discharged all of us from the hospital, and he didn't want to stay at my parents' house because my mom and dad live in a trailer and he doesn't like that. It's a house, right? Still. So he rented a room at Kirtland Air Force Base, and they have like lodging there, which is like a house, old base housing, and we ended up getting one of those. And we stayed there for a while. I remember one night in particular where we all had went out and got something to eat to bring it back to the room. I had went into the restroom, I believe that's where I was at, and Faith was in her car seat, and my oldest daughter was in the living room with my son and Christopher.
Okay, this is big.
Well, anyways, my I guess I wasn't moving fast enough for Christopher.
Okay, this one's big. All right. I'm going to rewind that just a little bit.
A while. I remember one night in particular where we all had went out and got something to eat to bring it back to the room. I had went into the restroom, I believe that's where I was at, and Faith was in her car seat, and my oldest daughter was in the living room with my son and Christopher. Well, anyways, my
Hold on. I was, and Faith was. Okay. Faith was in car seat. Faith was in a car seat.
And my oldest daughter was in the living room with my son.
And her oldest daughter was in the living room with her son. And Nina's oldest daughter was in the living room with her son. Okay.
And Christopher.
Well,
anyways, my I guess I wasn't moving fast enough for Christopher, but the baby started crying. Faith started crying, and she's crying, and I'm trying to get to her as fast as I can. And when she was in the car seat, my oldest daughter at the time witnessed this with my 3-year-old son. When she was in the car seat, he ended up hitting the car seat against the wall.
Okay. It's in the car seat.
Daughter.
Okay, the oldest daughter witnessed this. When Faith was in the car seat.
At the time witnessed this with my 3-year-old.
Okay, oldest. Faith says, not Faith, sorry. Nina says her oldest daughter witnessed this with my 3-year-old. With her 3-year-old
son. When she was in the car seat, he ended up hitting the car seat against the wall. And he...
Okay. Car seat. When she was in the car seat. When Faith was in the car seat. Nina says Chris hit the car seat up against the wall. Wow.
Ended up hitting the car seat against the wall. And he's getting upset because she's crying.
Wow. And Nina says Chris is getting upset because Faith was crying.
And then when she was in her car seat, there was a coffee table right.
Okay. And then when she was in her car seat
there, and he ended up.
There was a coffee table. There was a coffee table.
Tossing her. Was in her car seat. There was a coffee table right there, and he ended up tossing her on the coffee table with the car seat.
Chris ended up tossing the car seat with the baby in the car seat on the table.
Because he was so irate that she was crying. And I said, hey, I said, what's your problem? I said, what are you doing? Like, don't, she's a baby. She's going to cry. I wish I would have just.
So sad, man. Me too.
I wish I would have never met him. I'm sorry. I should have left a long time ago. Because no children ever deserve this. My kids didn't.
Hold on. What's going on in chat? What do you mean I've never seen Justin do that to people? What are y'all talking about? What's going on? What's going on in chat? Okay. I thought someone was blaming me or something. I don't know what's going on. I'm typing.
So he left again to San Diego. A couple of days went by. Then all of a sudden he's like, well, you know, why don't you move to Hendersonville? And I was like, why though? You know, in my head.
It's absolutely okay to have a different opinion. It's absolutely okay. No problem. Just, be respectful. Okay, so I thought someone was blaming me for something.
And I knew it was a bad idea. I just knew it. I knew it because our marriage was on the rocks. I wasn't happy. He wasn't a good father figure to my children. I don't know why I said yes. Well, anyways, so let me back up. So before he left back to to San Diego. Faith ended up going back into the NICU.
It's okay. Sorry.
She ended up getting jaundice, and she went back to the NICU. So she was in the NICU, I want to say, for a week to a week and a half. And that was when Kathy, Chris's mother, came out, flew down with her brother, Duran Guy, or they call him Big D. They came down, and she was in the NICU. And that was when I felt like a plan was made, because like I said, our marriages it was on the rocks. And one of my neighbors had told me in San Diego, they had warned me. They had said, Dina, be careful, because Christopher is coming up with a plan with his mother. And they're planning on taking the baby away from you.
Okay. Nina said she spoke with one of her neighbors. And her neighbor allegedly said Chris and his mother are making a plan to take the baby away from you.
Yeah, I was like, what? Like, thinking to myself, it can't be true from somebody that's supposed to love you, right? Like somebody that you're supposed to share your life with. Like, why would he want to take the baby away from me? And she warned me. But I was like, no, why would they do that? So then after Faith got out of the NICU, we were no longer staying in base housing. We were staying at one of the NBC suites down here. Then his mom came up with an idea. She goes, well, since you guys, will be moving to Hendersonville. And I was like, I felt like, okay, well, maybe. And he's like, well, you'll get help. You're going to get help from my family.
That's what I was wondering, That's what I was wondering. How did the neighbor know that? I mean, unless Chris was talking to her.
But I was already getting help here from my parents, with my other two children that they helped me raise.
Maybe.
So that I went along with it. Like I said earlier, even though I knew it was wrong to go, I still went hoping that my marriage would work out. So she ended up taking Faith, although I was against it. Kathy Bowersox and her brother Duran ended up taking Faith. And my mom and dad were like, my mom started crying, and she goes, why are you letting them take the baby? And I said, because Christopher said that it's going to be too hard for her to travel, to travel. And I'm sorry. They went back. So Kathy and Big D went back to Tennessee. So 2 weeks later, about 3 weeks, maybe 3 weeks later, Kathy ended up coming back by herself. I do apologize. She came back by herself to pick up Faith. She was here in Albuquerque for one night, and I was, even though I was against it, I let her go with Kathy, because Christopher said it was going to be too hard to travel with her being a new baby. So he came out from San Diego, rented a U-Haul, packed all our stuff, and we pretty much left. And that's how I ended up in Hendersonville, Tennessee. That's when my whole life changed. That's when my nightmare happened. We lived with his mother and his stepfather, Terry, for about a good month because our apartment wasn't going to be ready until the end of August, about the end of August. So it was really uncomfortable living there. You know, Terry and Kathy would always bicker at each other, and she'd be bickering with Christopher, and, you know, my kids were a problem, an issue.
Okay. So Nina says they moved to Hendersonville and lived with Chris's parents for a good month because their apartment wasn't ready. Okay.
End of August. So it was really uncomfortable living there. You know, Terry and Kathy would always bicker at each other.
Okay. That is what was that guy who came on my chat, my panel, or called in Jay's panel? He said that the two he worked for him at one point. And he said that Chris's parents, mom and I guess stepdad, fought, you know, quite a lot. They were always bickering. Nina says we're bickering a lot.
And she'd be bickering with Christopher, and, you know, my kids were a problem.
Okay. Bickering at Christopher. And Nina says her kids were a problem.
An issue. It was always something. I felt really uncomfortable and I wanted to come home. I just wanted to come home to everything that I knew. I wanted my mom and my dad.
I promise.
Until I was a grown woman, I needed that. So we all had to get along, tried to for the most part, but it was just an awkward situation. I always felt like we were the outcast. Never felt accepted by the Proudfits or the Bowerslocks.
Well, Trigger, Serial Boomer, if you can do it, I mean, if you can do it better, please do it. You're welcome.
On one occasion, Christopher was cutting my oldest daughter's nails, and she didn't want her nails cut. And Christopher, you know, grabbed a hold of her hand, and she pulled her hand away.
Okay, Nina says Chris was cutting Nina's daughter's nails, and she didn't want her nails cut.
And
she pulled her hand away. Hand away.
Daughter at the time had braces.
Oh, this is the braces story.
He backhand Isabel in the face. And
Nina says her daughter had braces, and Chris allegedly backhanded Isabel in the face.
Busted her whole lip open.
Busted her whole lip open.
I should have left, but I didn't. And I was like, oh my God, like I can't be here. I don't want to be here anymore. So I would come up with every excuse just to come home, but yet, I couldn't come home. So finally we went and we moved into the apartment. And a phone call, like as soon as Christopher was leaving, he settled us in, got a storage unit of what couldn't fit in the apartment. He got everything ready, all right? Him and his family. As soon as he knew that we were comfortable, he left back to San Diego. But the night prior to him leaving, he had got a phone call or text message that night, and it said something like, hey baby, or around something like that, saying that when is your flight coming in? And I was like, what? Like, who's texting him?
Cuckoo, thank you so much, my dear, for becoming a member. Welcome to the family, Cuckoo. Appreciate your support. Thank you so very much. Yes, Deborah, that's his only bio child that I'm aware of. Yes.
So I did confront him. And like he said on one of the podcasts, is that I did slap him. Yes, I did slap him across the face.
Okay.
So I did confront him. Like, who's texting him? So I did confront him. And like he said on one of the podcasts, is that I did slap him. Yes, I did slap him across.
Okay. Nina says she confronted Chris and slapped him across the face.
The face, because who's he talking to at this time? And saying, and he could say that she was lesbian, up and down, but at this point in time, I didn't know what to believe. And I was like, okay. So then after that
So Chris said she was a lesbian?
following day, he finally left. His mother came to pick him up to take him to the airport. And he went back to San Diego. And I was left in Hendersonville with 3 children.
Okay. Chris says, or it's not Chris, sorry, Nina says, Chris' mom picked him up to the airport to go back to San Diego. And Nina says she was left in Hendersonville with 3 children. So is she saying like Chris was cheating? Is that what she's saying? No, you're fine, Val. You're fine, honey. Cindy, welcome. Thank you so much, my love. Pearls look amazing on you and Coco Kachu. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you. Right. So Chris met Katie in San Diego while he was with Nina. Then I guess he got discharged and went back to Tennessee with Katie. What sounds like, in my opinion, Chris met Katie in San Diego. Chris and Nina went to Hendersonville, and then it got bad between Nina and Chris. Nina caught Chris talking to, I'm assuming, allegedly Katie, and Nina slapped him. He went back to San Diego, and Chris went back to San Diego with Katie, it sounds like. Some people believe Katie that Seth hit Sebastian, but Chris supporters don't believe that Nina could tell the truth about Chris hitting her kids. That doesn't make sense. I mean, I believe when someone says they were hit, they were hit. Well, doesn't matter who it is. When he took Nina to Hendersonville, it was to leave her there. He was saying never staying with Nina. So he wanted Nina to stay there by herself in Hendersonville? Why would she want to stay in Hendersonville while he's there? Thank you, mother daughter.
And pretty much no help from anybody. So I have found a job. I had a job, and Kathy helped once in a while. And I needed to find a babysitter. So his biological father, Michael, and his stepmother, Linda, at that point in time offered their services and said that, they can take care of my two older children. And Kathy didn't want Faith going over to Michael's house. So she took care of her. And at that point in time, Christopher, we were still communicating. And like I said, our relationship, our marriage was on the rocks.
Wow.
So my oldest daughter had gotten sick, and she has upper respiratory issues.
Jude.
So I took her to the emergency room in Hendersonville, and that's when Hendersonville transferred her to Vanderbilt. Is that what I believe that hospital's name is?
Yep.
And I was kind of frantic because I was like, well, what am I going to do with my 3-year-old son and with the baby? Like, who's going to help me? So I was, I called Chris and I told him, I said, hey, I said, can your mom watch, Faith, or can somebody help me? Everybody was so quick to help me at that point in time. So Faith stayed with Kathy, and Noah Bryce went with his sister, Melissa. And I went with my oldest daughter. We got transported downtown. And so we stayed there. I can't recall how many days we were there. And Christopher had, I'd check on the kids, see how they were doing. And that point in time, I was like, okay, well, we got discharged telling everybody, okay, you can bring Noah back, and telling Kathy, okay, I'm going to be home so you can bring Faith
Hey,
back.
Lisa.
Thinking that my children were going to come home to me. I get back to the apartment complex, and I pulled into the parking lot, and I see Melissa just pulled in right next to me. It seems like they were already there waiting for me to get there. And then she said, I can't stay. I would love to stay, but I can't stay because I don't know what they were doing. And she just, my son gets out of her van. And then we walk inside, and I was waiting, for Faith to get there. And we weren't there but less than maybe 5 minutes.
That's
And I
true,
hear a knock at
Dispatch
the door.
Crystal.
And I
Very
was like,
true.
oh, great, Faith is home. And it was Kathy's friend, Patty, that's an attorney.
This triggers her really bad.
And she said, are you called?
Hold on. What's the situation here?
And we weren't there but less than maybe 5 minutes.
So where are they at?
Her van. And then we walk inside, and I was waiting, for Faith to get there. And
Are they at Kathy's house here?
we weren't there but less than maybe 5 minutes. And I hear a knock at the door. And I was like, oh, great, Faith is home. And it was Kathy's friend, Patty, that's an attorney. And she said, are you called me by my real name, Gomez? And I was like, yeah. And she said, you've been served.
Okay. At an apartment in Tennessee. Okay, at the apartment in Tennessee. Okay. All right. So, Nina's a knock at the apartment door. Waiting for Faith to get home, and she goes to the door, and it's Kathy's friend who's an attorney. What's her real name? Okay, here it is, maybe.
And it was Kathy's friend, Patty, that's an attorney.
Patty. Patty cakes. Patty cakes. Patty cakes.
Attorney. And she said, are you called me by my real name, Gomez? And I was like,
Okay. Patty asked Nina, are you Gomez? Nina replies, yes. And then Patty says, you've been served.
yeah. And she said, you've been served. She said, you have a protection order against you.
Okay. She says, you have a protection order against you. Okay.
You can't see Faith.
You can't see Faith.
And Chris is filing for divorce. And I was like, what?
And Chris is filing for separation or divorce. I'll just put divorce, I guess. Sounds like she was going to say separation, though. because they got divorced.
So then I go back, and thinking like my heart just drops. Like, what? Like, is this a dream? Like, this can't be happening to me. Like, this cannot be happening to me right now. So then I get on the phone and I try calling Chris and he didn't answer. And then I was like, rushing around and I get my kids in the truck and I go to the Gallatin police department and I, was ringing the call button. And like finally 30 minutes later, somebody shows up and I told them what happened and I showed them the paper and they said, "Yep, we can't help you." All I can think about is my baby. Like, how am I gonna get my baby back? Like, why is this happening to me?
That's so sad, man. God, that's sad.
So I go to Kathy's house and I knock on the door. And I remember I had Christopher's stepmom, Linda, on the phone with me. She was on speakerphone and I told her what was going on. Little did I know everybody was in on this. And Terry answered the door, which is Chris's stepfather.
Everyone involved in
And
this.
he told me that I need to get off of his fucking property.
Wow. Wow.
And here little Noah, who's 3 years old, and my Isabella is 7. And they're standing behind me. And I said, "Please tell me what's going on."
Can you imagine your
I
kids
said,
standing
"Where's
behind you?
Faith?" I said, "Please give me my baby back." And he told me, "Get off my fucking property." And he took out a green and black baseball bat.
Okay. So Nina goes to Kathy and her husband's house with her kids. She goes to the door and Kathy's husband answers the door. "You need to get off my fucking lawn." And then what was it about the baseball bat? He told me to get off the effing property and pulls out a baseball bat. Okay. That's crazy. And pulls out a baseball bat. And this is like in front of the
And he
kid?
took out a green
In front of
and
the
black
kids.
baseball bat.
Green and black baseball bat. She's very specific.
And he told me to fucking leave or he's gonna bash me and my kids' heads.
What? Nina says he tells her to leave or he's going to bash her and her kids' heads in. I believe this woman. I believe this woman. I believe her. I absolutely believe her. You you can't make something up like this. You just cannot make. It's not my first time hearing it, but it's my first time hearing it with um really detailed because I was modding and there were so many people in there.
So me and my kids walked back to my truck and we got back in it. And I was like, oh my God, what do I do? This is a nightmare. What am I going to do? And Chris was inside of the house with the baby. I saw his shadow. And they lied for him and they said that he was in California and he really wasn't.
Okay.
So
So Nina says she took the kids back to the truck. She sees, how did she state it? A shadow of Chris. Going to do
and Chris was inside of the house with
Chris inside the house. They said he was in California.
the baby. I saw his shadow.
But he was really in the house. Nina says she saw his shadow. Wow.
And they lied for him and they said that he was in California and he really
Okay. Nina says her socks lied. Okay. Wowzers.
really wasn't. So we go back to the apartment and I'm trying to gather all my thoughts together. I'm trying to keep as calm as I can for my other two children, but all I could do is just cry
Hey, Tracy.
and just think like, what is my next move? What am I gonna do now? I'm so far away from home. I'm far away from my parents. I'm far away from everything that I've ever known. So then I make a call to my brother, who he lives in Phoenix. And I told him what was going on, and he was so upset. And he's like, oh my God. And he's like, have you called mom and dad yet? And I said, no. And he told me himself that day, he said, you're going to fight. You're going to fight like hell to get Faith back. You don't leave that baby in that state. You fight like hell to get her back, whatever it takes. And that's
Bobby
what I
and
did.
Carter.
I called
TBI.
my mom and dad. And it had to happen after midnight here, so about like 1 something our time there. My dad answered the phone. And I couldn't talk. All I could do is cry. I couldn't get the words out. And finally he said, calm down.
Yeah.
Please calm down and tell me what happened. And I told him, I said, Daddy, they took my baby. And all he could get out is, "Oh no, they hurt my baby." And he started crying. And he woke my mom up. And he said, "You hang in there, we're on our way." So every single day, I worked. I worked at a local Great Flips out there. And I went in from the time it opened to the time it closed. That following morning, after all this had happened, I went to my bank account and to my savings. I've been saving money through this whole entire time, but I've been using it since we were out there so I can help support my kids and myself. But little did I know that Christopher wanted me to use all my money because he didn't want me to have anything, so I wouldn't retain a lawyer.
Wow.
So that morning before I went to work and dropped my kids off, at the time, Michael and Linda, which is Christopher's biological father, and his stepmother were still helping me watch my kids because they still had to work. And I went into my bank account, and I remember I only had $1,100 in there. And I was looking through the phone book or looking through,
It's hard to
my
get much
phone
with
and
a
saying,
lawyer
well,
with
I need to get a lawyer. Who
$1,100.
can I get? Thank God for Mr. Edwards, because I went into his office.
Sometimes in your life, things can happen and you can be, your back is against the wall and you just meet that one person that helps you, believes in you, and changes everything. And it sounds like what Mr. Edwards did for Nina.
Before, um,
Or
I called
JJ.
into work that day pretty much, and I said, I need to just think. I said, I need a day off. So I went into his office, and I ended up doing a consultation with him.
What's that? What is that? No, ma'am, no ham, no turkey. JB's mama to the office, please. You're being paged. JB's mama to the office, please. You're being paged. Late slip for JB's mama's 1208. Late slip for JB's mama 1208. Thank you.
And I remember him,
Late.
he told me what his fees were, and he told me, I told him the situation.
Trouble.
And he was in shock, and he goes, my God, he goes, this all happened? Like, you should have never came out here. And I said, I know, I should have never,
You do,
should have never
pandies.
came out here.
You do, pandies.
So at the time, I explained the situation to Mr. Edwards, and I was crying. And I said, Mr. Edwards, I said, I just want my baby back. And then,
yeah, we're gonna make her write sentences. I will not be late. I will not be late. I will not be late. I'm just kidding. Guys, I'm going to come back later. I'll be back at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have to go do some stuff. And this is really, really heavy. Really heavy. I will be back at 10 p.m. That is in 2 hours and 15 minutes. Yes, Mr. Edwards is a nice man. Love you all. Thank you for being here. I've been live 2 hours and 40 minutes. It doesn't feel like it. We've got a lot more to talk about. Tonight, I want to go over some theories and some calls. We'll finish this up probably tomorrow. But tonight, we're going to go over theories and calls. It's one you don't want to miss, for sure. I love you all. I'll see you guys 10 p.m. Eastern. Thank you all for being here. You have a lot of choices on YouTube. I appreciate you being here. You could have chosen to be anywhere in the world, and you chose to be here. Thank you all so very much, even the late ones. Love you guys.